Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? We are back with Magnus one more time. But the end is in sight. We're getting close to finishing this bad boy now. We've just got the auxiliary things to do, some of the optional extras, and then a few of the main parts to finish. So tonight, we're working on things like the horns, both the head and, of course, the nipple horns. And that amazing set of cloth sort of sashes that he wears. It's going to be awesome. I've just finished undercoating these. I think as I had a little bit of undercoat left in the airbrush. That's the opposite of right. Decided to quickly undercoat a couple of marines as well. So just quick clean of this, and we're good to go. So I managed to get some of Magnus assembled today, which is awesome. But first, let's just say hello to the absolute badasses in the chat. We've got Rival Sarah coming in hot with the first comment. Satin Craig, that's on Des. And that's it. There you go. I thought there was more. We were just having a bit of a chat. Hope you're all having a good day. Getting a bit warm in here already. Let's see the big bird in all his glory, shall we? Milos and Toonie Sprues, how you guys doing? Look at that. As you can see, Toonie Sprues coming in with a host. Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciated. Oh, Christ. Feels like a long time no see, brother. How are you? Let's get some love for that man as well. Baden's Lost Arms. Milos, I'm doing grand, dude. Honestly, can't complain. So we've got all of the feathers painted in on this wing now. Both sides. This is the back shot so far. I love these little leg shin guards that he wears. They're so cool. They are so cool. Doing a renovation. Awesome, man. Rocky, you turned up just in time, man. Here he is. Here he is. Still got this wing to do. But all of the feathers on his body, you can see they've got all the correct highlights and those little lines just to give some texture as well. They are all done now. But what an absolute monster this guy is. Starting to really come together. I love it when you get to this point in a commission or even just a paint job in general. Holy shit! Rocky throwing out some gift subs like an absolute weapon. Thank you very much, dude. But you finally start getting him assembled. All of those gambles that you've taken throughout the process of like, well, I think this color is going to look really good with this, and I think this is going to work well with this, and I think by the time we get this in, I mean, let's just, for shits and gigs, you know, try and line this up something like that-ish. There we go. So subs, absolutely insane. Again, by Rocky. Needed to see it today. Could pick me up. Dude, I'm glad. Look at that. Oh, so good. So good. Everything's working out. Very happy. We've got the base. Obviously, you guys saw that on the last stream, and it's currently holding up Magnus, so I can't get that out and show you guys. But this is where we're at now. We're starting to do all of the little auxiliary bits that we've got for him. We just need to blow dry these down. Books, scrolls, horns, both head and nipple, and then the sashes, which is where we're going to start things off. When it's a partnership party, oh mate, right now, I don't know about you, but it feels like the hobby is, in general, just a little bit quiet. I'm finding this a lot on Twitch, that the average viewership is down about 20 to 40%. Seen a lot of people's stuff on YouTube not quite get the same level of views that they're used to. I don't know if it's just like a time of year thing or what, but it is what it is. So partnership, we are a ways off right now, which is a shame because I could really do with it. I was talking to somebody recently about a job. I've just been made redundant. And that's coming in with full effect in about 3.5, 4 weeks. So could really do without that, but it is what it is. I'm hoping as we get into the holiday season, maybe people have got a bit more time off, perhaps we can start to get those numbers back. My commissions haven't so much slowed down as people are asking for more, so I'm getting more large commissions than, or more large commission requests than small, like, oh, if you just do this one character for me. Rocky, peace out, man. Thank you for those subs, you absolute bad man. We'll get you all those meeps. So the 5 people Rocky gifted a sub to: Dark Angels for Life, Test Suspect. Oh wait, that's a Rival Sarah gift. Holy shit! Rival Sarah's gifting out some subs as well. Test Suspect, Milos, Cormag, the Peckish Fox. He's a boss. Inazuma 99, Sarah. Sarah, you are something special. I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, darling. The other 5, Dark Angels for Life, Bola 76, AMP Services, my man, absolute superstar, Flash and Dash 2000, and Wasted Mind. I'll make sure that all of you guys get your meeps after the stream. Everyone, let's get some hype for Sarah. Let's get some exclamation point rival, some exclamation point tufts going on in honor of the Baroness of Bushes. Right, let's start on these. Now, I've been thinking about how to paint these. Inazuma 99, thank you for that follow, dude. I know the colours that I want to get when I finished, and there's more white. But we want to have like a pink and blue shadow for it. So on Magnus, we've got loads of blue, which is his skin, but a lot of this is being hidden by this super vibrant red armor. We're very possibly going to be doing the Ball of Flame in a very light pastel blue. But I want a little bit more blue on the model, so that once you've got all of these things surrounding Maggie, there's still this core of Magnus the Blue. And I think this is a good area to start bringing some of that back in. So we're going to do blue. The reason we're going to do pink as well is because it contrasts really well with the blue. It's going to make this really interesting and really eye-catching. It's going to pop off against the white in case the blue gets a little cold. It's going to add that vibrancy and that power. And of course, it's going to match this part of the Sword of Change. So that's the reasons behind why we're going with this particular recipe. Now I just need to work out how I'm going to get there. We're at that piece of the Karate Kid film where Miyagi-san says to Daniel-san, "See tree." And now we have to take the bonsai tree, which is, in this example, a piece of plastic masquerading as a piece of cloth, masquerading as maybe silk, and turn it into this thing of beauty and wonder. So close your eyes. See tree. We're going to start off, I think, probably the best thing to do with some white ink. Get some zenithals in here, really build up our value layer so we've got some nice dark shadows, start working those blues and pinks into. And it's going to give us a roadmap of where to go from here. So that's the plan. Let's get the compressor fired up and ready to rock. quick swill out to make sure there's no black left from the priming I've just done in the airbrush. We're good. Let's get on with our flow improver. And our inks. There's a new series of Cobra Kai with all the... Oh, yes. I know. I've seen the first 2 series. Is there a season 3 now? Because season 1 was amazing. Season 2 I thought was really shit. It just didn't grab me. But season 1... Oh, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Season 3 is coming January 18th. Nice. Day before my birthday. That's some birthday watching already sorted out. Grab a cocktail stick. Clear all this. When I'm using white ink, I don't like to mix it with the brush that lives in the paint water because it's going to contaminate it. So try and get something that's nice and clean, like for instance a cocktail stick. Give it a stir with that. Percolate the pot. That's that backflow technique where you just allow a little air in there and cover up the front. Boom. So you go for a very top-down zenithal for this. We're not going to be too harsh with our light and shadow. But for now, just that first pass, we're going to really get in there and start establishing those values. So the value is how bright something is going to be. So if you think about it in terms of light and dark, something with a higher value, something that's brighter, something with a lower value, something that's darker. And by doing this and keeping that tight control, you can see we've got some real shadows in here at the bottom where there's obviously no light. Plenty of light areas up here at the top. I want to make sure you get both sides of this because this does have that little sort of loop around. There will be some light that is shown in the middle there. So make sure that gets a little bit of a hit as well, as you can see. But the rest of these, nice natural shadows. You have a secret crush on Johnny. It's not really a secret anymore. You're just told the internet. Question is, did you when he was a kid, back when you were a kid? Yeah, he was the young, cool schoolboy jock, I guess. He was a twat. Yeah, absolutely right. He's an absolute twat. Now he's just an alcoholic and still a twat. You know? There's not a lot of change. Sweep the leg. I can take him. Sweep the leg. The thing is, Daniel LaRusso in this is such a douche as well. Oh, he's just an utter tool. In all of the series, he is just... Ugh. I quite like the Jaden Smith Karate Kid with Jackie Chan. I thought that was really good. He's softening, he has that hindsight vulnerable side. I like it. There you go, boys. Sarah likes vulnerable men. Beware. Hashtag predator. Right, I need to get just in on the back side of this because this will be visible from the front. Sorry, from the rear of the model. It won't be visible from the front, but we need to make sure we've at least got some light and shadow in there. So establish that value layer. Boom. Let's grab the hairdryer, give this a quick go. And we'll come back in and repeat that process. Because whilst what we've got looks like white, it's because it's just bright and it's shown up like that on camera. In reality, it's still quite grey and we want to really punch this up. I want to take this moment while there's nothing going on to profess my absolute undying support for Rival Crafts, because I was getting messages off of Sarah last night at gone 10 o'clock working on the tufts that I asked for yesterday morning, just because she knew I needed them for a stream coming up soon. So that woman didn't eat her dinner till 10 in the evening because she was busy making tufts for the stream. That's service right there. And commitment. Sarah, you're fucking awesome. Absolutely will not get that kind of service anywhere else. Most people won't even make you a bespoke product. It's like, oh, we just do these. Not having their dinner till way past some people are in bed just so they can make you that bespoke product. Priceless. Alright, let's punch these up. Get these super bright now. Make sure we get inside a little as well. I'm just going to cheat. So we're not doing so much of a zenithal here. I just want to come in and just hit a little that bottom side. So then we've got a nice contrast just built up in that little recess there. You got your own magic blend. Absolutely. See, I'm special. For many reasons. Should add the cost of a takeaway what you're charging Jay to make up for the lost dinner. Can we ban Rob, please? That's a banning. Immediate. Sarah, you ever come up here, I'll cook you dinner. And it won't be at fucking 10 o'clock at night. You bring the rum. I'll do steak. There you go. Steak dinner for the price of a bottle of rum. I'll even throw in a painting lesson as well. You can give Cuthbert some friends that way. Deal. There you go. Right, that is extremely powerfully white now. You see we've got plenty of areas of contrast. If we flip it right upside down, you see all those darker shades just sort of poking in there, especially this nice big area right down there. Plenty of room on the inside as well to shoot some of that pink and blue up into. It's going to be awesome. Orcrist, buddy, you're welcome every time. However, instead of rum, I need you to bring fresh cheese curds. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody in the chat's like, the fuck he wants cheese for? You know. Not having steak and fries, it's steak and motherfucking poutine. Do you like Kraken rum? If it's got the word rum in it, I'm good. Like, we've got... No, we haven't got Kraken here at the moment. We've got some Woods. Woods is really good. Gravy browning. Fuck that noise, man. We got Bisto. It'll do. Medium rare is the only way to eat steak. Unless it's a ribeye, in which case just towards the medium side of that is the correct way. Rob, we're going to do a cooking stream at some point. I shit you not, one day it's going to happen. Like, we'll do a cooking stream. I'll find a way of doing it. It's just going to be a lot of work. Old J rum. There's an old J rum. There's an actual J rum. Peckish! We were just talking about you, man. Admittedly, I say just, it was like 20 minutes ago. Dude, how are you? Lost Torpedoes, Tizzed. What's cracking? Chicken Patty, what did you do? You got gifted a sub by none other than the great Rival Sarah. So congratulations on your sub, dude. Welcome to everyone coming in from Peckish's stream. Dude, I've never even heard of Old J Rum. Now I am absolutely sold on this. So, Creepy Kangaroo, Janelle sent 17 months! Almost a year and a half. Look at that. What a gal. Tonight, we're working on Magnus's sash. Basically, we've got these. We've just done a zenithal highlight on that. If you guys want to see Magnus in his glory, we've managed to finally get a few bits of him assembled. Here he is. Currently, still topless and anatomically as correct as a Ken doll. I give the Magnus the shred. We can just about position this as some weird optical illusion to make it look like it's attached. There you go. That's what he's going to be. Isn't this just awesome? What a guy. Really looking forward to it. The base is going to be finished off on Thursday night stream using products from Rival Crafts. This is what we got up to on Sunday night stream. We did the entirety of the airbrush work on his base. Got a little bit of brush work to do. Not a lot, just a little. You're going to use me some MIG ammo powders. It's going to be super sick. Super, super sick. Apparently the Ultramarines, mate, he might have blue skin, but he ain't no smurf. Fucking turn Bobby G into Swiss cheese. Easy mode. Just get these out of the way, annihilate the airbrush at the same time. Now let's go back to our sash. So welcome to everybody that's just come over from Peckish's stream. Peckish, how is your stream, dude? What were you up to this evening? What cigar would you pair your steak and rum? Any, basically. There's almost nothing that's not good after a steak. I stay away from Cubans because they've generally got a milder flavor if they're fresh off the truck. And as a result, you're going to have that overpowered by the mouthfeel of your steak. So if there's something Nicaraguan, or maybe like really high-end Dominican, like Opus, that would work. But a good peppery Nicaraguan cigar, I'm thinking anything rolled at the My Father factory. Almost any of Drew Estate's Liga Privada line. Add cigar sommelier to my fucking resume. Right, let's grab everyone's favorite color, hooker lipstick pink. That's definitely going on here again. We're going to also want some purple to just help moderate that a little bit. So let's go to GW for some Nagaroth Night. Now I want to bring in the blues. I'm going to go with an old standby to begin with of Signar Blue, but I want the highlight, not the base. I think I might have lent that to pen. Ooh, or yeah, we're going with some not Troubler base. I want Meridius Blue. That's going to be... There we go. Signar Blue base. And Meridius is looking... Not that. It's Lothern. Here. Yes. Meridius Blue. So we've got like an almost teal to go in next to this super, super bright pink. I was painting the Dark Age of Shield Captain with 500... Holy shit, dude! Congratulations, 500 followers. Everyone, if you don't already follow Peckish, you should. He's a decent guy. He's a good painter. Decent guy. Definitely a decent dude. So go give him a follow if you didn't already. Let's start off with the purples, working out the pinks. Then we'll go into the blues. The feel blue will cover over the pink and give us a nice purple and bring it back to a little bit like that. We can then just bounce back and forth between them if we need to. He is a very decent guy. Absolutely right, Chicken Patty. Dark Age, your shield captain. Maladaeus! 5 months on a streak. What's this, eh? 5 months? Jay, since I've been following you, feels like my painting skills has had years of experience boosting from what it was. Thank you, mate. It's been incomprehensibly real, dude. Keep on rocking your gem, mate. Mate! That's a critical hit right to the feels. Gonna get all teary and everything. Peckish, if the wife is telling everyone publicly you're a decent guy, we all know she really means you're a rat bastard. Nah, much love. Honestly, everyone, go check out Peckish's streams. He's a solid guy. So we're going on real thin. We're going to go 2-to-1 flow improvement of paint. We want to make sure that there's no speckling involved in any of what we're about to put down. This needs to be super, super smooth on top of this white. Was it beginning of I'm painting red by starting with blue, white, and yellow? No. No, we do a lot of little tricks like that. A, they fuck with people's heads. And I'm all about that in painting. Like, if you can get somebody to be sat there going, this is not going to work, and then go, I am a believer! Then you've nailed it. That's exactly what you want to be trying every time. But you need to have some normal painting every now and again, and this is going to be one of those times. So we're going to do the purple. Purple pink on the top or the bottom? That's the question we're looking at now. So looking at the composition of the scene, I think we'd be best placed. Best placed purple at the bottom. So the reason I'm thinking that, we've got this massive plinth that Magnus is stood on, and then right in front of him there's a little like tower, little pillar rather, with a flaming sort of magical orb on. This is going to be a very, very bright electric blue. You know, a little bit pastel, but very like full on. Because of that, I'd like to have the blue still in the middle, so Magnus stands about this tall to it. This should be about that height to our orb, right? So if we have this area as blue, it'll look like a semi-reflective thing going on. I'm down with that. Pink towards the bottom. No, Rob, you misunderstand. We're not painting blue by starting with purple and pink. We're painting this in both purple to pink and blue to teal to sit in the shadows of our sash. So we'll have purple tones towards the bottom that will blend up the length of the sash into this blue teal as we get to the top. That's the plan. So what we're going to do to begin with, we're going to just start taking some very, very light sprays of purple to start laying in the foundation of our sort of shimmer effect on this sort of satin, silk, whatever you want to call it. One thick coat of colour shifting paint. Fuck no. There's a reason I don't like stuff like that. And it's essentially because you have very little control over what you're doing. There are things that you can do to help moderate the colour changing effects of those paints and give yourself something that has a specific effect. But if you don't put a lot of time and effort into those, you end up with something that only looks good, or correction, may only look good from certain lights. And I really don't like that. I'd much, much rather have something that looks perfect from every angle because I've chosen where to put my highlights and so on, than something that if you look at it in a weird light, your highlights are wrong, your color palette is wrong, your hues are wrong, everything's just changed. So we're not a huge fan of that. If people like it, then that's great, but it doesn't fit my style so much, and so for me it's a no. So we're building that purple up. You see we're getting a nice solid recessed shade of that. Now we're going to cover up a load of the white, which we will then come back in with a slightly off grey blue anyway. So we're not too worried about being messy, but let's just try and keep our values nice and clear. Just a good life lesson anyway, that, I suppose. But, I mean, of course, our light and dark shades. Let's try not to get too dark of a purple onto the areas where we want the light to show up. There you go, and then we'll start bringing it a little bit up towards the middle of the cloth as well, so we can start bringing that transition through into our blue. Now we're using a lot of brush pressure for the air, using very little paint coming through. We're keeping these layers super thin, basically glazing with the airbrush. Now it's a bit of a misnomer, and I shouldn't say things like that, because whenever you paint with an airbrush, you're basically glazing anyway. The paint you're putting down is so thin, you're just laying a little tint onto the surface. That ball was a great example of shading. I would, but it's an Instagram direct message, and I have no... let's find it. I'll tell you what, you had the original image, you put it in Discord, and I'll put it on the screen. Let's go with that. So make sure we do the back as well. But yeah, like I was saying, you're always glazing with the airbrush because you're putting down such a thin coat of paint. It takes multiple coats to get full coverage with something, right? But we're really, really going thin now, so we're definitely getting much more of a pronounced glaze than you would normally. So making sure we work inside as well. This is a lot less visible, but we still want to make sure we have this effect coming through. All these things, super important. And the benefits of using a blue tack system as well is you can just... There you go. Try doing that with a new painting handle that looks suspiciously like a butt plug, the new Citadel painting handle. Even more so than their last one. Games Workshop, for those that are unsure of what I'm talking about, announced today a new painting handle coming out in November that's a sleeker, slimmer grip. For people with, what, weak wrists? Which is interesting. It does look quite definitely like it belongs in the butt. Where did you put it? Where'd you put it in Discord? Oh, where? Just general. Yeah. Well, how am I supposed to hold it so steady? I mean, you could definitely go with that. That's when it becomes a two-person job to hold your mini, clearly. So here you go. Everyone spot the problem with this. Triggered. Absolutely triggered. Peckish Fox, if you're feeling really brave, try it with pine cones. Just a little bit. Ouch indeed. Ouch indeed. That's... It's not that it's flat. I mean, the shading, the gradient is not ideal, but the light source is on the right-hand side and the shadow is right in front of it. So the shadow is where the light is hitting it, not the other side of it. Right, more again, do the same, making sure we're laying this purple down, trying to retain those values again. but a little trickier on this part. We've got some really small creases in this cloth, so to go on just a little bit stronger than before. A bit more covering up of what we've got, but that's fine. Get on the inside. A lot of this, obviously, very dark. Bring that purple. And this is why we're going with purple as our base for the pink, rather than going straight into the pink. They're using a lot of the pink on all the light areas, but anywhere where we've got this shadow, got to get the purple in. That pink would just look weird against the black. More concerned that the first person I thought of to trigger was you. Great. Oh, I know someone that's really piss off. Dear oh dear. To be fair, I'm not surprised you wanted to piss me off after the, hey, with absolutely no notice at all, do you reckon you could make these tabs for me, especially? I feel I deserved it. Again, epic service, as always. There we go. So, we've got our purple layer laid down. Let's just make sure that there's no spots we've missed, anything like this that's just a little bit speckly, which just come in and reinforce. Like so. No, it doesn't trigger me at all. It just makes me think that you're a bellend. It's not good. It's not good. It's a shit black wash. Right. Now, because I know the paint we're about to use is extremely thick, I'm using 3:1 flow improver to paint. We're leaving a little bit of the purple residue in the airbrush cup, as you can see. Just chucked in 9 drops of flow improver, 3 drops of paint. Oh, here we go. Target number 4! How the time does fly indeed, pal. How you doing, bud? Welcome back to the stream. I got skills, dude. I can care for anyone with fuck all notice. That's because you're fucking awesome. Keep it up. Doing okay? Awesome, mate. Give that a damn good mix. You're gonna get a nice mid-tone pinky purple. We're gonna spray this into all the areas that we just put purple down, but we're gonna leave just the darkest recesses with the pure purple. This is where we're starting to build that kind of satin, silken look. This is maybe still a little too thick. No, I think we're okay. So this is going to help keep this colour very vibrant. I mean, look at it already, it's just popping off. Even just against the white, it's something else, this colour, I love it. So, again, very small amount of paint. Can't stress that enough when you're doing stuff like this. Very, very small amount of paint. Just need to have control over that. Don't want to flood these surfaces at all. Yeah, you can see what's happening now. We've got that purple just in the recesses there. We're going to get a bit more of a blend, certainly this one side, all the way up to a very, very bright pink as we go through this. But for now, that was a shame. I've just managed to pop a little bit of tissue, pink paint on that. Let's just clean that off nice and gently with a wet brush. this will come all the way up to, like I said, a very bright pink. We'll then, like we did with the wings, pastel a lot of that out as we start laying down the white layers for things. That's going to be worked up though to a off-white grey for all of the cloak itself. I don't want this to be super white, it'd be too bright. Even the wings, which are white, aren't pure white. We've got that mother of pearl effect in there. If this was the brightest point on the model by being a pure white, all the attention on everything else that we've done would be sucked right down into this, and then what would the fucking point have been? You know. Connor's Retro Omnibus. Hey Jay, how's it going? That is a cool name. That's a very cool name, dude. Also, where do I know you from? Trying to think of people that I know called Connor that spelled a name with 2 N's. I know loads that spelled it with 1 N. If you were brave enough, you'd have that in your hair. This bright pink. Aren't you a little young for a midlife crisis? I mean, mine started at about 25, so you know, I don't know what I'm talking about, but... This, we're just going to get a little bit of that pink into. I'm going to leave the purple in the very darkest recess, but I do want this nice bright pop just at the very bottom of that there. Okay, let's look at this. This is looking a little bit too much of a switch. So less of a transition and more of a just it went from one colour straight to another. It's not what we're after. I know you from cigars. Is your name actually Connor? Because then I know exactly who you are. And if so, fucking long time, man. Hey, dude. Fuck me, man. There are some people I speak to on here, I'm like, I haven't even spoken to in real life in... I don't even know how long, right? Mate, how are you? How's things? As you can see, we're just painting. We got Basie. How you doing, man? Liking the idea, blue, black, young, I'm 36, almost time for a midlife crisis. Look, you're not that much younger than me. There's always time for a midlife crisis. Just fully embrace it. Don't go like halfway into the crisis. Like, have the entirety of the crisis. Get your money's worth out of that. Things good yourself? Still drowning in cigars? Well, my Herfador no longer holds everything. Neither did my Winador, and so the Winador became a 28 bottle wine cooler that just about fits everything in. But good job we got a lot of stock, so I have to cut back very soon. Job situation in these troubling times, as you find at the bottom of every fucking email. As Mikey pointed out, these troubling times. Also, Jager, how you doing, man? Didn't see you sneak in there. Get his modly duties done. Zalatan! Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. Type number 4, there needs to be actual miraculous divine intervention. Speedy Rush, also with a follow. Thank you very much for anything to change with that, I feel. So it certainly seems from upper management side of things that they're thinking one way and one way only. And as much of a dumbass move as it is, you know. Yeah, you know, it's up to them. That's their decision. Alright, now I can start building a little bit of that pink over the black. As you can see, it's got a very different look to it. Very desaturated on the underside of here than it has out here, right? And that's why we couldn't just use this straight down over the black. It's just not going to get good coverage. You need that purple to help start blending things through a little bit. I'm going to take that all the way up so we've got plenty of room for our blue to come down, have a little bit of a play with it. Get those transitions ready and set up for much later in the process. Crazy few months before I move to the island. Holy shit! Nice, dude. Bands Lost Arms, peace out, man. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Much love. I've never been to the island, man. I used to work with a guy back when I was chefing. He would go out there every fucking year for the TT. That was his thing. That was like, the kitchen wouldn't necessarily close, but everyone knew that Jerry was gone. Jerry was the head chef, so we just slow down the trade, you know. Refill time. You can't spell refill? Definitely a good time. Same here on this. Just build those pinks up a little bit. Let them get ready to play in with the blues in a touch. Not so happy with this. I'm going to grab the hairdryer, dry that down, see what we need for that highlight, which is not quite gelling for me. I think it's just a little bit more of a shade there, darker purple than I want. So, let's have another look. Hey, Basie! Giving Connor's Retro Omnibus a sub, because only one, I will do that one. No. Ooh. Have I spoke your name wrong? I didn't think so. Yeah, ER. Yeah, not OR. Boom. There you go, Chief. Let's give you your meeps. Bam. There you are. Have some currency. Just do a little bit more on this side as well. Slightly brighter, but it was this just here. See, this is the thing, right? This area just there just looks a little bit desaturated. And that was what was throwing me off. We've got this purple down here, then we've got this almost desaturated area where the purple coverage wasn't enough, obviously, so we're just going to have to amp that up a little bit more with this pink and just drag that forward a little bit. So an extra coat there to help sort that out. A little bit more. There we go. Loving it. Right, let's flush almost all of this out and then we'll come back in with some pure sunset red, that hooker lipstick pink. Free K-pop promotes no one asked for. I used to know some K-pop back when I was a big StarCraft 2 fan, because that shit's everywhere. Sarah, that is a strong meeps balance. Very strong meeps balance, because Rocky and Macy aren't here. That's why it's strong. Yeah, way back in the day, I was a big StarCraft 2 fan. That was my first ever YouTube channel, was StarCraft 2 commentary for Major League Gaming. I used to get sent replays, like game file replays of battles between people they couldn't get on their streams that happened at their events. They just did a commentary for that and fire it off. Sarah, it's because you just did a load of giveaway subs, so, you know. That helped. Again, we're going 3-1 with this pink. It's going to be much, much brighter. You're a British Husky. More like British Quick Shot, I think. Like good old Trev. He's a good dude, actually. I met him at the ESL studios in Cologne, in Germany, with my ex. We went out to watch the European StarCraft League. That's right. League of Legends. Fuck, not StarCraft. League of Legends. The ESL? No. I can't remember the bloody organisation. But yeah, that was fun. That was a good good holiday. Things I do when I'm drunk. Well, let's assume it stops at gifting subs, shall we? So this pink is going to come in now really, really vibrant. This is very important. This is what we need. Because this is going to have to hold up all of this color when we start layering back in on top of this with the colors for the sash itself, right? So blend that through, leave plenty of that transition. We don't want it to be an immediate switch from one color to another. It has to have a transition, otherwise it's very jarring. So again, very small amount of paint. Be very deliberate with where you're placing it. So here, for instance, you can see right at the very peak of that fold, that crease, that's coming in. By the time we get this covered back in with a whiter, like off grey color, most of this won't be visible anymore. So we need to exaggerate it a little bit at the start, knowing that that's what's going to happen. There we go, and again, just hit this bottom crease. So grab the hairdryer, dry that down, give it another go in a few places where it's just a little bit too thin. Part 11 of Magnus, this is some serious day rate shenanigans. Mate, don't even. Next week, there'll be dank angles on stream. Everyone, let's give some love to Mr. Nick McDade. It's his fault. I've just put 3 of these fucking things together. We have the ATV, which actually I don't dislike now that I've kind of got it in front of me. It's still not my favorite thing in the world, but it's okay. We've chopped the pegs off these guys. They'll just be glued to the back like so. The guns, mag on. Happy days. This guy sits in there at the front, as you can imagine, but the magnets for these, mate, are a decent strength. You know, you can't quite piss around with it too much, but that'll hold the mini up. You know, no issue. So, plenty of work on those today. Got all 3 of them finished, magnetized up, ready to go. Next job will be probably the chaplain, because I want to do the Space Marine chaplain on bike on stream, because my god, that model is sexy. So pretty. Polly, how you doing? Made lasagna. Can I put it in the whip gallery? Fuck yes, you can put your lasagna in a whip gallery. I love lasagna. Lasagna is absolutely one of my favourite foods of all time. However, gluten-free pasta tastes not great, and you can't buy good gluten-free lasagna sheets, which is a real shitter. And hand-making pasta without a pasta machine for sheets of, it is just, oh mate, that's a long, arduous process. I can't get behind that. It's too much work. So, want to watch 40k related stuff before payday? Need a new mortgage, mate. I didn't know you were a 40k guy. This is awesome. Should definitely. Oh, you got to come from the Isle of Man. That's a bit of a drive. But I was near your old area not that long ago, actually. But yeah, man, if you ever make it over to the mainland, come on down. I'll give you a game of 40k. We'll have some smokes. You can bring the booze. There you go. Super vivid pink. When you say from scratch, I mean that's how you just make lasagna, right? That's it. There is no like, and I put this jar of Dolmio in. This jar of what now? I bought white sauce. What link? Don't have Nick's links for adding to the chat. Where is... What? What is Nick doing? Oh mate, back when I worked for GW, I had literally every army at least at 1,000 points. Oh. You know how as someone that's a cigar smoker, you're like, I wonder how much I've set fire to over the years. As a Warhammer fan, you may not have set fire to it. There have been instances of that, I appreciate. But that's not the norm. You may not have set fire to it. But don't even start thinking of that number. Like, I wonder how much I've spent on. Nope. No. Right. This area at the bottom needs a little bit of love. That transition just got a little bit too much into a straight colour switch. So just feather that back in a little. Much happier with that. Now, let's flush all this through. Do you go bright now? No. Yes? No. Sorry, just working out the process. Dude, Necrons are lovely. I really like the new Necron stuff. We did a stream, a 48-hour stream, did a Chronothon. We're going to do another one on or around the 21st and 22nd of November. Title number 4, we're not even doing one monolith now. Monoliths, they could have been so good. They could have been the best thing ever, and instead... They just weren't. They just weren't. Monoliths are poo. If they were heavy support, 3. If it wasn't the strats just limited to core, 1. If they were still a Lord of War choice. But why did they make it a Lord of War choice? And why did they make it core only for the strats? If you could drop 20 flayed ones out the front door of a monolith within nearly engagement range of the enemy, I'd have a monolith already. I'd have pre-ordered it. Yeah. If you could drop 6 Scorpec destroyers out of it within damn near engagement range of the enemy, I've got it. Type number 4. I know, but that's a 9-inch charge, 8 with Novok, and you want to use a command point for the reroll, almost definitely. Instead of, here's a CP, bam, we're not failing this charge. Just Scorpec destroyers, 6 of those boys, right? Just flying over. You use your 4 with a 2-hand things to just murder some infantry, and a two big blades axing dreadnoughts to death. Yeah, apparently kill team's going to be flayed ones and Deathwatch Primaris dudes. So, you do a review of the Necron Codex? Is that something you do? I didn't. Mikey and I used to. So we used to do the Hellstorm stream as more of a hobby podcast, a little bit of competitive focus. But if I'm honest, it just wasn't really going anywhere. Like, it wasn't taking off. People were less interested. There were other channels out there that were already established that were doing it as well or better than we were, because they could get an interview with somebody that just won a GT or a major or so-and-so with that army, because everyone wanted to go and be on their channel and have a chat, right? So no, not so much in the way of codex reviews and stuff. Right, let's get the blue down though. So same as the pink, same as the purple. We're aiming for the recesses, the creases, the folds. And we're looking to marry this into that pink. So look from the top, we've still got a little of that white coming through. As soon as you start to bring it down, the blue starting to come out, and now we're going to start moving down. We're going to be about halfway with our transition. So we've done the pink all the way up, so we can transition over that with our blue. So we're going to move the brush this way and release. It's the Art of War. Speaking of good channels doing good 40k content, we were literally just talking about that. Bam! Here they come! How are you folks doing? What was your stream like today? Get some love in the stream for the Art of War. Everyone, definitely go give these guys a follow. Absolute bosses of 40k. Punk Fox, how's it going? Eclipse DDJ, how you doing? So what's your stream, guys? What were you up to? We're still working on Magnus. This is part 11. We're now working on the sash, the cloth, all of these sorts of things. But today, had a bit of a breakthrough on Maggie. And we are currently at this stage. The sword is not attached yet, because I've got to do the other side still. But this is where Magni is at right now. We've got loads of armor left to put on him. A little bit of work left to do on the wings. We've obviously got these little sigils to do, but what an absolute man. Got the hair on that hair as well. That ginger hair is something else. Hopefully, you guys get the reference that this is from. The old school epic 40k miniature. We're a big fan. Oh, he's very unwieldy. So we're getting there with him. We are getting there. But this is where we're at the moment. Name of Dade, thank you very much, dude. It's a big difference to where you saw him in bits the other day. So, what we're doing with the sort of sashes, we're going to do a two-tone pink and blue. And then once we've laid this down, we're going to start working this up to a slightly off-grey white. Vulcan! Thank you very much for that sub, dude. 7 months in a row as well. You weapon. So we're working on those transitions. And then after we've got all of this down, we're going to start wiping out a lot of this colour and building it back up to white in all of the areas that are the sort of front of each of these folds, right? So we'll have this beautiful set of like, imagine like a satin or a silk, like a coloured silk, where it's just got those little bits of colour as it moves through the light. That's kind of where we're going with this guy. So we're using a lot of air pressure through the airbrush, but using very little paint to get these tones down where we want them to be. But guys in the Art of War, what was your stream about tonight? What were you up to? Was it a good stream? Did you have fun? Yeah, satin underwear. Mate, if you were a Demon Primarch, wouldn't you want silky briefs? I mean, Fulgrim possibly alternates between silk boxers and ones made of, like, Hessian. But he's weird like that, and that's just how he rolls. Hanging out with attack bikes, lots of questions about Marines and Necron player. I'm not surprised. I've got some of those ATVs on the go at the moment. Done a little bit of magnetizing on the weapon, because whilst you don't necessarily need to, I decided the best thing to do would be to keep the dude at the back glued in place so his arms are always in the right spot. Yes, we've got Raven Wing heads on one of these dudes. And then have the weapon just be able to pull off to swap it out nice and easy. That way you're not trying to sort of pull the plugs out of here and then pull that one out as well without dislodging the dude. So that's what we've gone for. And then when we come to attach these guys, we'll just pin them straight back through into the base there. Give him some nice bit of solidity. He is a beaky boy. This is going to be the... Nick said, like, unit sergeant or whatever, but I don't know if they had sergeants. But we've done one with the beaky face. Because they're Ravenwing. Going to be Ravenwing. Are those pants satin? No, they're brand new. Oh, why did I even read that? Logo go for sackcloth. That's why he's so angry. I think he would. You're right. You're right. I think Russ would go completely ball out. You know, free balling entirely. Mortarion would have turned his inside outside, back to front, and even in the weirdest possible combination, upside down. I reckon Korax would be Under Armour. You know. Dawn strikes me as someone that wears like extra supportive. You know. Always on the protect and fortify train. Just gonna clean the tip. This is not quite compression shorts Korax, yeah, man. No movement, no giveaway telltale sign of jingly balls, but nothing to break the stealth mode at all. That's better. There you go. So you can see the transition that we're getting in there. We've got a lot of that purple mid-tone going on. This is good. We're going to build this blue up really bright, though, into a teal. We've got some Meridius blue from P3, which is one of my favourite colours in general. So using both of my favourite colours, the Hooker Lipstick Pink or Sunset Red from Vallejo in there as well. Big fan of all of this. Again, let's just get into all of that lovely shadow with this blue. There you go. So that's the topic of conversation tonight. What Primarch wears what kind of underwear? Out of all the Primarchs, who wears the thong? Angron strikes me as a Speedos kind of guy. Like tighty whities. That's definitely like the anger, the rage comes from just a little, you know. The other one wears boxer briefs. Maybe. Bobby G would get a survey going on. It's going to be like one of those bullshit customer satisfaction surveys where you're like, please indicate on a scale of 5 to 7 how you enjoyed your experience wearing our briefs. No, Bobby G strikes me as a tighty whities man as well. Him and Angron probably shop at the same store for their undies, in fact. They just go in on different days. There you go. Look at that lovely blue, though. Already quite vibrant, just because it's going over that pure white. Let me lay it down with the inks. Behave. Yeah, Mortarian's definitely like whatever he's got, but it's been on for a while. Oh shit, Demon Badger as well! That's 3 raids. Peckish Fox, the Art of War, and now the demonest of all badgers is here as well. Dude, how is your stream? We are currently painting Magnus and talking about what different Primarchs wear underneath their power armor. We've established that Magnus, clearly something silken. Mortarion, whatever underwear he can get hold of, but he's turned it upside down, inside out, back to front, worn it 17 years in a row. It's not pretty down there. Russ goes balls out. So it's a fun topic of conversation. Primarch underwear. Do you reckon they all get it from Primark? That would be super weird, but extremely apt. So I'll show you guys the nearly completed Magnus in a second. Let me just get this little coat of blue finished off, and then we'll grab Maggie. So we're working on the sashes, like the cloth that he wears. This is Magnus in all his glory right now. We've still got plenty of armor plates to do. We're doing the full armor, the nipple horns, the head horns, and the armor, the gold face mask. That's got to be done as well. But this is how he's looking right now. What a beast. Absolute fucking beast. Second Primarch prefers redacted. Genie from Aladdin has been working out, absolutely. He had a little from column A and a little bit of column B. Can't have been the only one that saw that movie as a child, alright? Leave me alone. Let's flush out most of that blue. Let's start getting in our Meridius blue from P3 also. This is an epic turquoise blue. I love this stuff. It's so, so good. Alfaris is wearing your underwear. That rat bastard. They've just come out of the wash. They're a little bit wet. Shell Hell, I think. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. What do you reckon Ferrous Manus wears? I'm thinking like banana hammock. You know. Nothing too crazy. Don't want him to lose his head. Right, here we go. So now we're starting to bring in that slightly teal, turquoise-ish colour. So we're going to leave a lot of that blue. We want this to be an overall blue finish, but we want this to be how we get some of our brightness and our strong, sort of vivid colours coming in from this. It's also going to really, really pop off against our pink and purple. Getting that greeny colour going on. Khan seems like he wears underwear fresh out of the dryer several times a day. There you go. There you go. You know, Jagatai needing to be completely fresh at all times. Do you not think that his underwear is full of skid marks? Because bikes? Likes the warmth, reminding him of the blood of his enemies. If the blood of your enemies is down, you know, by your boys, then that's some very, very angry sessions for your therapist. I think at that stage, that's just, it's just weird. Vulcan goes raw. They don't last a day. Damn. Getting that heat. Clearly, master of the forge and all. No. He wears underwear made by Dickies. Like crew shirts and lumberjack style boxer briefs with a Dickies logo on. That's Vulcan for you. A man of the people. There you go. These are the colours that we're aiming for. We're going to go a little bit bright with that blue. But then once we've done all this, remember we're going to desaturate all of this. We'll start bringing in the main colours of that cloak again. It's going to be really, really weird. Especially at first. But you guys should be used to that from me by now. Everything we're doing here is literally just a shadow. That's all. These are going to end up off-white. So Magnus, he's a lumberjack and he's okay. He drinks all night and he works all day. He does like to wear strange brassieres. Tit armor, basically. Connor, peace out, dude. You take care. Yeah, my number's the same. Feel free to drop me a line, man. Have a good one. Great to see you again as well, or at least speak. You know, you saw me, I didn't see you. It just feels a bit stalkerish. Do you think you'll do the top coat tonight? Yeah, man. I'm fully intending on getting all of the cloth finished. At least, well, certainly all the airbrush elements of the cloth finished. All right, we may not get to all the brushstroke parts of the cloth, but all of the airbrush elements absolutely done. And I'm still working out how I'm going to do it correctly, but I've got some ideas. I think I've got some decent ideas as well, so we'll see how it pans out. But right, that's almost all of that flushed out. Bit more flow improver. Again, working very thin. 2-to-1 flow improver to paint. We're just using this to really just pop out some of those top areas. Really give this a nice brightness. Was Maggie getting inspiration from Richie in Guest House Paradiso? Spiky. Oh my god. Oh my god. I haven't seen that movie for fucking ever. I watched the making of on the DVD and I was amazed and astounded. There's a bit where they had to film it in reverse because Richie put his head through like a set of like shuttered doors that between a kitchen and like a lobby room, and then Eddie reached through with a hook under his nose and yanked his head out. And because that was deemed to be too dangerous, there's a reason for it, let's be honest, they shot it backwards. It was amazing watching them rehearse their lines speaking in reverse so that they could play it backwards to have them speaking normally. Was just one of the most beautiful things. I love Adrian Edmondson. He was such a boss. Bottom of the young ones. Oh, some of the funniest things that have ever been on TV. Hands down. Alright, there we go. Super bright. Super bright. Soon to be pretty much just white as well. And I think I've worked out how we're going to do it. I think. Notice how we're not touching any of the underside of the cape with this at all. This is just for the top side. Make everything super vibrant where it needs it. Now I'm going to leave a little of this in the airbrush. Dry all this down with a hairdryer, and then the plan is that we will mix this blend up using some Celestra Grey. It'll desaturate everything, but we'll spray carefully around those recesses with very, very thin paint. So we're building up that off-white grey, which is what we're looking for. Hopefully without there being any speckling and so on. So we have to go slowly through this transition. It'll be tricky, but we'll get there. Bit of Total Warhammer 2 whilst watching. Nice, dude. I tried to play it. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't enough like Warhammer. Unfortunately, neither was it enough like StarCraft or CNC for me to want to play it. So. I know, I knew that. I didn't mean to imply that he was dead. I was just saying that he was fucking amazing. You know, I loved watching their stuff. Even as far back as like the Dangerous Brothers. Perturabo gets Dawn's hand-me-downs. Listen, you. That's absolutely not right. He gets his welded together. Perturabo wears a chastity belt. That's why he was a little bit angsty. You know, just a little pent up. Yeah, my housemate plays it a lot. He does a lot of the world-spanning campaigns and so on. He's never won a campaign, but he does play it on super hard difficulty because I think he likes to lose. I think he likes games that really sort of punish him. He plays a lot of Darkest Dungeon and Stellaris as well. So I really feel that there's an element of like flagellation in it, which is weird, but you know, whatever amuses him keeps him going. Right, we've got a really pastel blue now. So this is where we're at, right? So we've got that very close to white, maybe sort of a duck egg blue. Glutton for Punishment, definitely. Glutton, definitely. Cleaner tip. Whenever you're working with very light pigments, you need to make sure your tip stays clean. They're much more prone to clogging on the needle, and then you'll get like this sort of sputtering. And if you get any spatter when you're doing something like this, that could be you done. So we need to make sure that we don't do that. Now what we're looking to do is colour all of the cloak, leaving the recesses on currently just the blue end of things. So we're going to turn the cloak away from us as much as we can, so we're avoiding a lot of the pink. We're going to be using a lot of air and very little paint and just taking our time through this. Come down into the pink a little to keep that transition going. So this is what we're after. See, we're getting that very desaturated look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the exposure on the camera settings. That's too dark. To here, just so you can start to see this as it comes in. It's a very faint look for now. We're going to amp up this a little bit as we start moving around the Mini with it. And obviously what we need to do is get a completely opaque coat over that blue, because this has to be very, very solid. We're going to build this up to white. We can't have too much in the way of blue in these creases. Certainly can't have much in the way of it on the flat areas. And the whole thing will just look weird. So we're turning the model this way around so we can still, if I zoom in, that might help as well. Get right in here. Quality's going to be a little bit grainy because of what we're doing with the camera and how we're manipulating its feel. You can see we're starting to get up to that pale colour here on that crease. We've started up here now as well. As we build this through, we will definitely get up to an almost white across everything, and it will just be the creases that retain those shades that we've laid down. You've got to be careful here because this crease is very open to the angle we were just spraying at, and we need to be sure that that doesn't get filled in. So now what we need to do is just change the way we're holding the model a bit. Hopefully you guys can still see this and the airbrush isn't blocking your view, but we're just going to start feathering out this crease right here in the middle, like so. This is why it's super important to keep the tip clean. Normally when you airbrush, you start away from the model and you sort of bring back over it, and that way if there's any splatter on the first sort of press of the trigger, it happens off of the model. It doesn't come back in across it. Can't always have that luxury, unfortunately, though. And that's where we're always working on our brush control. That's the most important thing about using an airbrush, is having control of it. People will go on and on and on about how your paint consistency is the thing that's stopping you, and how your air pressure isn't right, and a million other excuses as to why your airbrushing hasn't actually done what you want it to do. And unfortunately, the sad truth of it is, it's normally just down to the fact that your brush control needs a bit more work. Continue to wipe those out. This one's tricky, so aiming down the crease, and we're essentially just edge highlighting it with the airbrush. So tiny amount of paint coming out, just back and forth along that line. Let's have a look at it. Getting there, needs a lot more. You can see we're keeping a lot of the colour in those recesses. Just building this up now. Another sharp crease here. Just again, very careful. Tiny amount of paint. This is the control we're talking about. You can use as much air and as thin a paint as you like, but only a small amount of that paint coming out at once. So in the recess there, we've still got that purple, we've still got that blue. And if we look down from the top, you can see a few more pronounced areas of that as well. Just flip that round. Just make sure the sides, especially at the top, are nice and bright. And then we rinse and repeat that over the others. Now what I'll do before I do those is I'll just change the exposure back up so you guys can see this in the same light that I am, rather than the artificially darkened spot that we were just in. Hopefully that shows up a little bit more clearer. So you can see again, just got those little recesses of that colour just hanging out in there. Let's move on to these bits now. Now the recesses on this is much smaller. We've got a lot more large flat areas where we're going to be building up that brighter desaturated blue, and this is just to help us transition again up into a much brighter colour, but we have to go through these stages, otherwise it won't be a transition, it'll be very speckly, it'll just be a straight switch from one to the other, and that's no good. That's not going to help us out at all. So when we get to these tiny creases, very careful. And right at the very top, plenty of that. So there's still that little bit of a colour in there, nothing crazy. Probably, we'll see how bright we go with the next palette, and then we might stop and just use a brush just to get that control. But at least one more airbrush pass with a brighter colour than this, if not two, to get to where we want to be. Again, come down here, that mid area. There's a lot of light this side, there's a little bit less that side, so we'll make sure this is nice and bright, but we'll leave some of this colour play just in that recess. There must be something else you can blame. There is poor life decisions, alcoholism, short-sightedness. I could blame my eyesight. There you go. That's what it is. I'd be absolutely fine if my eyes weren't fucked. God damn it. I was doing everything fine. Just got screwed over. It's genetics. Just genetics. Bad, can't paint, bad genetics. You know? There are very few things I think you can blame genetics for. Bodybuilding, I think, is probably the only one, and that's only when you've literally exhausted every other resource. Like, back when I was training for wrestling, everyone wanted big arms. You know, the good guy looking all buff and, like, popping his pecs and his biceps and everything. Everyone wanted big arms. I tried everything. And they just don't want to grow. Like, my chest got bigger, my legs got bigger, my fucking forearms got bigger. Biceps were like, nah, mate, we're alright. That one I think I can put down to genetics. Tried everything from doing like power curls, treating it like a powerlifting exercise, to doing super high volume. Everyone's heard of 21s? I used to do 84s. 4 sets of 21s. Like, by the time you've done that, you can't even turn the fucking steering wheel in your car, let alone like lift something. Cable curls, hammer curls, bicep curls, preacher curls, fucking twisty curls. Like, every fucking type of curl we tried. Tried doing 2-a-days on arms. Everything. At that point, genetics. Until you get to that point with whatever else it is that you're trying to do, it's your own fucking fault. Do more practice, get the reps in. That's it. Sorry to disillusion anyone. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. Just own up to the fact that most things that are worth doing aren't easy and take longer to master. Tried curly fries. I've never ever eaten curly fries. Does this make me a bad person? Answers on a postcard. No, I've never eaten curly fries. I think I've only ever had crinkle cut fries like twice in my life. They just always looked so greasy. Like, that's not appealing to me whatsoever. Right, gonna start in with, I think, some white ink now. So again, super thin, 2-to-1 with ink now to flow improver. Well, 2-to-1 flow improver to ink. Dude, I got it. It was cool. I thought it was funny, but curly fries just... I don't get it. I don't understand. You hate arm exercise. I was fine with triceps. Triceps did well. Good at those. No issues there. That's what makes your arms look bigger anyway, to be honest. But you do that and you're like, this is embarrassing. Tater tots. Right. I'm not American, so forgive me if I've got this wrong. But for those of you that may know the difference, are tater tots basically like potato croquettes? They're like croquetas. Is it like that? Polly clearly doing lower body, leg day for days. Tiny, shitty. Wow. Target number 4. Show me where on the doll the tater tot touched you. This is bad. Daddy Tubbs! 5 months on the subs. Oh, Dan, I forgot you were streaming. I've been busy looking at conversion kits for nights. Just in case you weren't aware, my name isn't Dan. I'm assuming that was meant to be, oh man, I forgot you were streaming. We'll let you off. A croquette is, yeah, it's mashed potato. You meant damn. Okay. You said it's an Italian thing. It was, for me, it was always a Spanish thing, like a tapas thing, like croqueta. So we used to make them. It's mashed potato. Then we took some Serrano ham. No, Iberico ham. We we used to render the fat down for that and mix that in with a mash instead of butter. So you had like Iberico fat croquetas, little bits of Iberico jamon, and then you pipe them so you've got nice long cylindrical shapes of mashed potato with stuff in. Freeze it and then pan it, so that's breadcrumb, right? So panko breadcrumbs, and then you just deep fry those. And so good. Tater tots are just portable hash browns. Brilliant. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm with you. Alright, so now I'm going to cover over almost everything we've just done with this extremely bright off-white. We're still leaving ourselves plenty of room to highlight this with pure white. But this is kind of where we're aiming for our overall mid-tone for these sashes. And that is still a little speckly because we're using that ink. So we're going to thin it even more now, which is going to be tricky. We'd make noises very much like I try and say your name when you eat them. They are delicious. Woke up this morning to say, right, I'm buying a Night Army, chose Chaos because of the looks. After a day of researching, it's not an army, you just wake up and buy it. It fucking isn't. Yeah, Balefire's conversion kit is super nice, actually. There's a couple of pics of it in the gallery here. It's like World Eaters theme, old school white and blue. Love that thing. That went to Nick McDade. He won that in the raffle. I'm thinking, by the way, for next year's stream birthday, that we do a Space Marine, except we do a Space Marine. So you can get some 3D printed or cast. There's a couple out there. There's that night. And I'm thinking we do a full-sized, like, display scale Marine. No, not one of the Bandai ones, because I think they look fucking turd. Just absolute no. The McFarlane ones were better. Way, way, way better. But unfortunately, I was too slow on the trigger and didn't manage to get one. But the Bandai ones, I'm not a fan of. I'm talking about some that have been either printed or cast by a third party and doing a full paint job on a massive Marine. So I really hope so, Jager. I really, really hope so. Because I wanted to buy two. I wanted to buy one for me, one for the stream. And then when I eventually decide on what to do for my own Marine army in terms of a paint scheme, then we'll get one painted up in that, and then do a stream one. We do a giveaway weekend stream where you could win this Marine. Let's just knock this down in exposure again. Whoops, wrong one. Too far. Just again, so you can see the difference between the colour we've just laid down, this very, very off-white, and the one we had before. You can see it just there. Big, big change. Oops. I hated their Necron, to be honest. That was super gash. Wasn't a fan at all. Just looked really derpy in the face. The dimensions looked off. I know they weren't, but something about scaling that guy up didn't work for me. Don't know why. Right, just gonna clean the nozzle, get a little bit more resistance. There are a lot of large, nice, large-scale Marine models knocking about on the interwebs. We'll do some more research, see if we find out what would be cool. You legend, mate. Yeah, it was Sith, which is who I'm probably going to go speak to about it, to be honest. So he's been someone that's been subbed for a little while and pops by semi-regularly, so it'd be nice if I can throw a little bit of something his way. Alright, need to be super careful here, so we're using a rocking motion, the airbrush trigger, to just deposit a little sniper shot of highlight right there in the middle. You see that little white dot just in that V-shaped crease? going to continue working on that. And the reason we have to do this is because we're using paint that is so thin that if we didn't, by the time like the second part of the paint had hit the miniature, the air would have just pushed the rest of that paint around. We get that awful spider webbing. So that little rocking motion, that's a definite airbrush hack. Just bam, pop in a few shots of that to really get a specular highlight, or to add one sort of final touch to an area. El Peterino, thank you for the follow. It also helps to just really nail your highlight on something where the surface area is very flat to you, because again you'll end up with that issue with the spider webbing if you don't. And because it's so thin, we have to do several passes to build up our colour to where we want it to be. But now you can start to see what's going on. We've got those nice blue tones in the shadows. We're getting that very nice bright coloured satin. It's hyper reflective, exactly what we're after. Now we're back to the difficult parts. So again, tiny amounts of paint. And it's all just about control. Follow that crease. So there you are. There's that blue. Just there in the recess. You got that white straight away. That's what we're looking for. Brush for hire. How's it going, man? How you doing today? We're still working on Maggie, but we're doing all of these bits of cloth tonight. Chimo! Dude, I haven't sent your grot yet. Haven't made it out to the post office. He is... I saw the little guy. There he is. He's hidden behind the sign of Magnus. That's why. He's still here. I have your address. I will endeavour to get him sent this weekend. I have to go into town. So hopefully we'll be able to get that out to you soonish. Gutted, of course, that the Alliance Open isn't happening this year. Would have been able to drop that off to you in person. That would have been so sick. So sick. So how are you, dude? How's things? Those of you wondering what that was about with the grot, Chimo won last month's Mini Painted by Me contest. We need a better name for that. That doesn't really roll off the tongue. And chose the mystery box, the contents of which some would argue would be a booby prize. But Chimo loves grots, and so for him, it was perfect. Just came back from my best friend's wedding, gave him a golden throne as a I thought that was some weird... Like, I weed on his chair. Then, it's not very nice. And then I realised the Emperor, golden throne. Unless you did piss on his chair. It's just weird. We'd love to see it though, unless it's piss on a chair. In which case, keep that to yourself, you filthy heathen. It's that second pass we were talking about. Making sure you've got a nice bright colour. Now, obviously, the brushed highlights are going to change a lot of this. This looks to you, on camera, extremely bright, but if I cover up some of that light and stop some of that reflection from out, you can see we're still kind of at the halfway towards grey stage. We're probably going to go one more airbrushed highlight, maybe with very almost pure white. Maybe. Let's move on. We'll look at the difference between that sash and this one. Yeah, that extra highlight pass on there is making a big difference already. Let's knock these up a notch. Mohawk's monthly minis. It's got to be easier to say. That's going to get out of hand Can you imagine it? Mohawk's Monthly Minis, March edition. May edition. But I like where your head's at. A little bit of speckling, so just going to clean the tip again. But yeah, this month we've got some banging prizes up. The mystery box is already full. There's already a mini in there. And all of this month's minis are ones that I just went, I really want to paint that. We're going to get that. I really want to paint it. So the two that you guys will know the identity of are thus Sergeant Ripper Jackson, the most badass sergeant in all of the Kachan Guard. Look at that mini. Look at that base. And the new Inquisitor Kyra Draxus. What an epic mini. Obviously, loads of different ways you could paint that. Very, very cool, both of them. The detail shots, the glamour pose. We got both of those. And then there's something in the mystery box. Monthly mystery mini. Mohawk's monthly minis. I'm not sure. Monthly mystery mini. I think I prefer that one. But let's not make it Mohawk's monthly mystery mini, because that's too much. Well, that's the best thing about having the Inquisitor. You know, that whole Agents of the Imperium thing. You know, we're just going to have that in a list anyway. Like, I can run her in Knights if I needed to. Though, if I'm honest, if I'm taking the Inquisitor, Grey Fax every day. Every day. Grey Fax is a boss. Like, no, I deny all your powers with +1 to deny, and I've got loads of denies. So the reason I'm using the hairdryer right now, I just went a little bit too hard on that, and you won't be able to see it. There's a slight blemish here. Just want to clear that out. Luminous! No, wait. Lamuness. Lamuness. I knew I'd said that slightly wrong. How you doing? Welcome to the stream, man. Good to see you again. Hopefully you had a good time hanging out in Streamy Rated tonight. There you go. Much brighter. Who is this month is going to have a real tough choice? I think I'd go Inquisitor, but the Catachan is awesome. Don't forget the box. Don't forget the box, you know. It's always a good chance that the contents of that box are going to be great. As you guys have now seen, there's always a definite chance it could be a grot. Here's what we're going to do. We will go brighter with the airbrush one more coat, but we'll do the pink workup twice. Then we'll go pure white, or maybe like a white mixed with a little bit of grey, just to keep it a little bit more muted on everything else. Don't neglect the box, mate. The box of mystery is sometimes powerful and a source of both wonder and mystery. Sometimes it is a source of a grot. There we go. That's giving me what I want. So now you can see we've got that really definite divide between the top and the bottom there. We've got plenty of that blue still showing through, but that absolutely powerful white is exactly what we're going for. Again, we'll hit the sides just to help keep that nice and bright. Also help cut down on some of the brushwork we've got to do. Edge highlight feel going on. And then this side. Again, a little bit of speckling, so immediately. What's in the box? Warhound Titan. Could be a Warhound Titan. It would fit in the box. Definitely would fit in the box. But the box is clunky and heavy this time. I wonder, what could it be? And no, it's not a Grundstock hauler. I can't remember any of the Sigmar words. Crown Blade would be very disappointing. A Grot plus 2 of J. If I could clone me right now, I would, because I'd have the clone building the Dark Angel stuff I need to be building. Because fuck assembly. I hate that so much. Here's the problem I'm going to have when I'm made redundant is I won't have work meetings to be able to do assembly in anymore. I have to do it in what's actually my real time. A Grot plus 2 of J's weight. Yeah! That makes more sense. Obviously got a nice sharp crease on that one today, but I think we're just going to rely on brushwork for that. There's too fine a line even for me to airbrush that. Let's hit some of this middle ground a little bit more though. Especially on that middle crease. Okay. Get these sides. And then we are good to go on the pink side of things now. Just come in a little more at the top. So that second pass we were talking about earlier on, we're on the main cloth. Just going to hit this middle section a touch more as well. Working really close now for accuracy, tiny amount of paint, and just be sure you're hitting that line. Take your time, be patient, make sure you're controlled, and it's in. Bang. Right, let's flush this out, give it a real nice rinse through quickly. Assembly is the fucking worst. Got 3,000 points of sisters of battling my shafts and trying to find someone to start. Nuts to that. What's the main difference in gameplay from Imperial / Chaos Knights? Couldn't find a difference. Is it just strats? It's a lot. So for starters, we've got some Warlord traits that you have as relics, and you have some relics I have as Warlord traits, and that doesn't necessarily make things too different because it's just the opposite side of the same coin. But you don't have some of the Warlord traits that I prize highly in my codex. So I play Krast because I can take a gunboat knight and turn it into a close combat death machine just by choosing that house. Reroll hits in combat. So good. But it also gives me access to First Knight. First Knight is amazing. First Knight is a Warlord trait. Allows you to reroll ones to hit. It's the only source of rerolls that I have in my army. I know you can take the Knight Preceptor. Jables993, thank you for the follow. Let's bring out that pink again. Rojo! Sunset. That's really disappointing that sunset is the same in Spanish as it is in English. I don't know why. Okay. A little of that, and then some more Celestra Grey. Desaturate that pink. Bring that grey back in. In fact, I'm going to go a little more, putting some more flow and through that. Just help combat how thick that pink is. So yeah, we get some different Warlord traits, we get some different house and like alignment benefits to you as well. But the biggest one, the single biggest difference, sounds small, but it's enormous, mate. It's one stratagem Mechanicus Knights get. Machine Spirit Resurgent, where we take any knight that's been battered until the end of that turn, it acts as if it's on full profile. Wow, this is super vibrant still. We need to knock this back even more than we already have. We're going to add in some white ink to this at this stage, I think. Still way too pink. The power of that Sunset Red is something else. So Machine Spirit Resurgent means that if your opponent doesn't kill your knight, they've basically done nothing in their turn. And I've had enough people whinging about it. But they don't understand that without that, we've got nothing as a knight player. You know, it's very easy to completely decimate your opponent when they've only got 5 models with just some clever target priority and so on. You don't even need to kill them to be good. So without that strat, our army becomes really, really difficult to play, and that's going to be the biggest hurdle that you have as a Chaos Knight player. You don't get that, and it's tough. Well, there's a lot of benefits to being a Chaos Knight player. I would suggest that the main one is the soup. Chaos Knights soup in really, really well. You can see how much pink is in this. Currently in the airbrush is 4 drops of white ink, 3 drops of Celestial Grey, and only 2 drops of that Sunset Red, with a fuck ton of flow improvement. It's still really, really vivid pink. I'm just going to use this quickly to sort of go around some of our darker transitions where we're getting towards the light parts of the cloth, and see if we can just knock back some of it, I guess. You might have to abandon this entirely and just go up to an almost white regardless. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. This might just help us get those transitions across though, and that's all we really need for the first one, so maybe we just roll with it and see what happens. So in which case we will paint all of that area in this pink as well. And we'll allow this to just go a little bit close to the blue, but not so much on top of the blue. Chaos Knights are cooler. I mean, mine are covered in hazard stripes, OSL, and everything, so I would refute that statement, sir. I would refute that all the way to the bank. See what's going on now. We're starting to blur out a lot of those darker sets. We've still got this nice recess in here, but everything else becoming a little bit brighter. We're going to be careful up here. I want to leave a lot of this in, but we do need to be careful that it doesn't dominate the entire cloak, just that one spot. So start bringing this pink in. I'm just going to have to play around with the blue a little bit, just to knock back some of that. Continue using the Chaos kit, turn it down a bit and run it as Imperial. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, especially for friendly games. Just be aware that the 2 sort of main Chaos Knights, the new ones that they created with the like backward cat legs and all that sort of shit going on, they are only for Chaos. So we're going to shade a white scar with before I give it a titanium white spray from above. Brown. Brown works well. You go for like a, if you want something like, do you want a cold white or a warm white? Sounds dumb, but brown will give you a warm white. If you want a cold white, go with like a off blue grey. the guy that had the best painted army at No Retreat, and trust me, there was some serious competition for that, but this guy's was something else. Was White Scars, and his had a very sort of earthy feel to them. I loved them. I thought they were beautiful. They were my second pick, to be honest. My first pick was Roy Gonzalez with his Orcs, because they were the only army out of all of the armies there, and there was some beautiful stuff. But his army was the only army that I got to the table, I just smiled. Just started smiling like a fucking idiot at how pretty they were. So, anything that evokes an actual emotional reaction in you, that's no longer just painted minis, that's art. So, well done to Roy for that. Alright, so there's our first coat of pink, desaturating a lot of that, but still keeping to that theme that we're aiming for, that satin-esque feel. Let's just give you a comparison shot, show you how much we've desaturated that, but still getting in there. So, Rivial, those are my... Oh, I missed it. Those were my knights, just there, those Iron Warriors knights. They're painted as Iron Warriors because I fucking love Hazard Stripes. It's just the most amazing thing. I love them. But they are Loyalist knights, and I've even got fluff that helps support that, but I'm not going to bother going into it now. How is there the smallest fucking cat hair in the world on this? Where am I tweezing? There's hair in there. Box of tools and brushes. There we go. Close. I also thought Super Imperial Knight with guard. Nah. Do you mean... Right, quantify that statement for me. Do you mean from a competitive standpoint, or do you mean, I just want to play a fluffy army and I'd like to win a few games and I play my mates at the club? Because those are two very different things. And I'm a competitive player. Almost everything I look at, I approach from a competitive standpoint. So, like, if it's not good, then it's probably just terrible in my eyes. However, I do love the story behind the game. We can play narratively. I crush my enemies and see them driven before me. I hear the lamentations of that single woman, usually their mother. Iron Warriors are indeed the coolest Marines. Welcome to the club, you're allowed to stay. Right, this is tricky because we need to shade this back up to white in areas because this area got a lot of light from that initial Zenithal. Work that up just into that blue a touch as well. Oh, speckling, so again we'll just stop immediately, clean the tip. As long as we win every game, you just want to have fun, maybe win half the games I play would be nice. Right, perfect. So actually, okay. If you want to make your mate cry a little bit that plays Custodes, take Helverins. -1 and damage 3. Puts Custodes in the open on a 3-up save. You're going to get an average of 3 wounds through per Helverin. So they'll fail one of their saves, and you'll kill a Custard, stone cold dead. What airbrush do I use? Des, I haven't done those commands. I knew this. I knew it when I thought about this earlier on tonight. I was like, oh, I haven't done those commands. I should do that. Oh, I haven't got time. I knew it would come up. I use an Iowata Eclipse HPCS. This is absolutely the best airbrush. Ignore the vajazzle that my airbrush has got. We've got an inline moisture trap, which you can see. There's plenty of moisture in there. That's doing its job. We've got a quick release system as well for easy cleaning and so on too. But you don't need all of those. Dude, I'm busy painting Magnus's white fucking wings and losing my shit over them as well. Starting to really hate this. There will be an exclamation point airbrush command. There currently isn't. There's very, very helpfully sent me a massive list of commands for people I should put in, like a Pachow command for Adam from Tabletop Minions, who's occasionally raided us during the days where we stream during the day. I feel some of that sentence was completely redundant, but never mind, you knew what I meant. Fuck's sake. Exclamation point sorted out, how dare you? And Des, that should have been exclamation point loser, I'll have you know. So we're using a lot of the overspray. You can see we're basically spraying the shot glass, just letting the overspray come in here and start playing around with the cloak a little bit, just to make sure we hit those lines correctly. I'm going to build up a little of this towards the bottom. I want to leave some of this in here. That's going to get quite a nice shadow, and it's going to really just pop out at us when we get our final bright highlights down on this. Des knows. Voodoo Yaz, don't you fucking come in here and just to back up your mate. I bet as Des signed in on your account. What is this? How you doing, Nobud? That's 2 streams in a row now, man. Obviously coming back to the fold. Alright, just need to hit this line nice and neatly. There we go. So we've got a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink, a little bit of blue coming through on that. That's looking pretty good. Just flip it around and just make sure we hit a lot of this inside as well, where that would get a little light just up towards the bottom, down towards the bottom. Back, baby. Get my paint on too. Really? Awesome, dude. Miniman 10th. Thank you for the follow as well. Welcome to the stream. Right, there you go. That's our first highlight of pink. Let's flush a lot of this through. It feels like a lot of wasted paint, but that sunset red is too powerful. Shitty floral beer. I thought Voodoo Yaz only drank the good stuff. Right, leaving a small amount of that pink left in the airbrush, like the dregs of it. Then I'm going to go 2-to-1 in with the white ink. Maybe it's not me as I'm drinking Carlsberg. Oh god, it's definitely not you. Ugh. Can't do lager, not really. Still not very light, but we'll give it a try. Or maybe. Yeah, this could be okay. This could be okay. Again, clean the tip, we're working with those very bright colours. We need to make sure that there's no speckling, no paint build-up. As soon as that residue gets on there, it blocks the airflow, blocks the paint flow, and then you're just looking for trouble. So working very thin as before, and now it's just coming in and we're turning all of that pink back to a very nearly white. And this is going to be the precursor to our very last highlight pass on here, which will be with just white ink. Maybe a little tiny dot of grey in there just to temper it a little bit. Oh, Heineken out of tins as well. No. Could be worse though, lads. You could be drinking Fosters. There you go. So now we're really taking a lot of that pink away, desaturating the hell out of this. Leaving just those recesses with that colour. Now the obvious questions are, but Jay, couldn't you have just like glazed in the recesses with a brush? Yeah, I could have, but to be honest, I think that's actually more work than this, than less. If I'd done that, the amount of back and forth cleaning up I'd have had to do on the white would have been too much. Too much. Oh, it's definitely easy to recycle, but lager out of a tin always just tastes like you're licking a battery to me. So let's keep bringing this bright, almost white pink up. Leave those recesses alone. Drinking Peroni. If I'm going to have a lager, I don't mind Peroni too much. It's not my favourite, but okay. Estrella, I don't mind. The Estrella Dram, whatever they call it. That's okay. Crafting 0-bite cans. Don't say bottles are better at drinking old beer. The fresher the better. Yeah. Deck Flow! Yo, dog! I feel like Kenny now. I shouldn't have said that. How you doing, man? Good to have you here. Let's get some love in the stream for Deck Flow. Deck Flow, how was your stream? What were you working on this evening? What'd you get up to, fella? We're working on Magnus's accoutrement. Now, I appreciate the camera is blowing out a lot of what we're working on here, but let me just lower the exposure a touch. That's the wrong way. You can see what's going on. So we started off with some blue and some pink as a sort of two-tone layer on these cloaks. You see a bit more of that from the back, I suppose. You can see how bright some of those colours were. We're now desaturating the whole thing. We've taken all of these like little shrouds, these bits of fabric back to a white, as if it was like a satin or a silk that's just showing those colours up. Working on French politics. I mean, you do you, brother, but I barely know my English one, so I'm going to stay well out of that conversation. Vive la croissant. Nice. 74 Daughters of Cain. I'm not a man to shy away from a challenge, mate. You've seen the Necronathon and the tales of glory that we had, barely, from doing so. That sounds like a hell of a challenge, though, mate. It's a lot of flesh to paint. But for those of you who just joined, this is part of Magnus the Red/Blue. I'll show you where we've got with him at present. He is getting there. He's a big boy. We've still got some chest armor to do. These sashes just sort of hang down, one from the waist at the front and then two from the back, sort of lower thirds. It's all good. Hey mate, Airbrush isn't cheating. It's a different skill set. So you can say as much as you like about that. That's fine. Aaron got a decent recipe for a nice reddish brown. Struggling to find something that's red enough for a blood angel and not too brown. Try something like burnt umber mixed up with an evil sun scarlet. Definitely not a fan of blue Magnus. Well, cheers for sharing that, pal. Now, fuck off. That's fine. Some people aren't. This is my colour choice. I was told by the client, paint it however you want. I know it's going to look epic. I trust you. I said, are you sure? Because I'll paint it blue if you do say that. But yep, that's fine, man. This harkens back to the very, very first realization of Magnus on the tabletop ever. Ever. Back in the old days of Epic 40k and Space Marine and so on. This was how Magnus the Red was viewed. Big ginger hair, cyclopean, like orange eye, and blue skin. That's the real Magnus. So therefore, Magnus the Blue. There we go. There's his cloth. We got one more pass to do with just white on that. We've got these two bits to do, and you can see again the difference in those pinks. Coming much, much, much closer to white now. So last pink pass, and then we're on to straight up white ink. But no, that's cool, dude. You don't like it, you don't like it. Art is subjective. We all have different styles, we all have different opinions and tastes, and everything else. So, pardon my banter. They look great blue. I feel like you're painting with cotton candy. It's kind of those colours, yeah. We're actually looking at a the slushy, the blue and the berry or whatever it was. That's what we've got here. Berry blast and icy blue or something, I don't know. But that's because we've got colours that have still got power, and this is why you're thinking of that. You know, a lot of things that are designed to attract kids because it's candy-wise, and you know they shouldn't eat it, but they want that kind of peer pressure on the child's parents. Are super vivid colours, and I'm glad you're still getting that feeling because it means that the work we've done to lay the ground for this has worked. We've got that power coming through. Just get the inside, just want to pick up a little of a highlight there. Still leaving in plenty of those pinks and purple tones though. Kind of want to do a run. Kind of wanted to do a run to go for a Slucky. Oh, okay. Sorry, it took me a second. I'm tired. I'm dyslexic, and sometimes the words jumble themselves up for me. Okay, just bringing this up again to that brightest pink. I think once we've desaturated this almost entirely up to the white, I'm going to give it a quick coat of varnish, get our Tester's dull coat out while we still have some. How they discontinued that, I have no idea. Do you not know what you're doing to me, Testers? This is... oh, it's troubling enough times as it is, and now that... what are we going to do? These are definitely troubling times now. There you go. I appreciate again you can't really see that because the white balance on the camera is just blowing it out, but just goes to show that highlight pass has done its job. It's working as intended. There you go. Now we've got to do is just white. Now we're going to change the white. We're going to just knock it back a little bit with a little bit of grey, because we still want to be able to use white paint to get our final highlight down with the brush. Have to do that. So, testing times. How do you unmod a mod? That was horrible. They are discontinuing Dull Coat, mate. Mate, if you can find somewhere with a decent price on it, there's found me some on eBay at £8 a can, and they still wanted $6.50 for postage. So if you can find somewhere, oh, I wish I'd known. Only say maybe a month or so ago, because Firestorm Games bought in like 1,000 cans of this when they got their restock. Crownblade! How you doing, man? You'd have been very disappointed in me earlier on. I couldn't remember the name of the Grundstock hauler or whatever it is that you keep saying might be in a mystery box. I'm very sorry. I feel I brought dishonor to my family. Alright. Clean all this out. More flowing through it. Hobo J! How you doing, man? Maggie is doing well. You want to see him? You want to see him? Apparently, Magnus the Blue, not liked by all. Here he is. There's the big boy. There's the big boy sword. Fucking beast. I saw you were streaming today as well. I didn't get a notification for it. But, awesome, mate. Good to see you back at it. Hope you had a good time. What brought that on? Your little cheeky stream? It was toxic and increased risk of cancer. That's why they had to change it. I know they had a different like recipe for Europe, but didn't know that. Spare time? What's that? Little cannibal girl. Thank you very much. That's also quite a cute username. I like that. It literally had nothing to do. Holy shit, dude. That's some rare air, that. Right. Let's make sure this isn't going to speckle on me. You might be right. Might be right. So now we're working up with pure white. I was going to put the grey in, but I figured that if we just do a very thin pass of this, we'll still have room to highlight up with actual white anyway. So again, knock the exposure back down. Just so you guys can see what's going on with this. That's artificially making our recesses look a little darker than they actually are, but we'll live with it for now. That is speckling just a touch, so I'm going to grab a little bit more flow improver in there. Your air... Oh. Yeah, okay, that's good, mate. You can probably just get that part, so... Unlucky though, mate. Unlucky. Was it while you were streaming? Because that's bad. How are your doggos coming along anyway? Oh, okay. So now we're bringing this up into the blue. This is that final sort of highlight pass where we're really just desaturating everything we've got here, leaving just those recesses behind with the suggestions of the pink and the blue. Going for that silky satin look on this guy. All about airbrush control. We're working with the thinnest possible paint right now. We're still keeping the air cranked to maximum. Because we know, as long as we keep control of the amount of paint that comes out of the airbrush, both of these two things are completely fine to do. Sorry, I just went really low as I concentrated super hard on that brush stroke, but there you go. You can see we're now getting that nice smooth pass all the way through. So it's helping to cement the transition in the background there as well. Email listening tab, it starts £8 for tin, £9.50 postage. The thing is though, mate, £8 a tin, it was £6. And it's just, and I'm nowhere near Stoke-on-Trent. Otherwise, that might be. Now, whenever you do something like this, you're going to end up with those areas of desaturation that just look grey. And all I'm going to do with each of those areas is bring them back up to white. So there'll be none of that awful looking blandness. The Tester's Dull Coat being discontinued for Europe. Possibly even just like all over the world, actually, thinking about it. I didn't even bother to check outside this country, but certainly for Europe, it is no more, sir. No one is sadder about that than me, I think. But I'm also equally not going to spend £8 for a 3-ounce can. That's just... You bought 2 antiques the other day? Okay. 1 second, guys. Click. Don't care about your privacy policy. Right now, shipping £8. I didn't order one, I ordered... What? Won't? I want to order 18 for fuck's sake. Not 81, that's excessive. Your website is complete shit antics, how dare you. Check out details. There we go, that's all the autofill shit done. Pay with PayPal. Send to my address, pay with PayPal balance. Won't be long. Thank you for your order. There you go. That's fine, we're okay for Tester's Dull Coat. Oh. I actually feel much better now. It's like a great weight lifted off my chest. Shit, we're at 11:30. Well, I'm going to finish this, but we probably won't have time for the whip gallery then. But yes, have just bought 18 cans of Dull Coat. That shit, I need that in my life. Zygmunt! How you doing, man? Oh, damn it. And there's a lasagna in there as well, which I'm kind of interested in seeing. Alright, well, we'll do a whip. We're just going to stream long today then. Because I want to get this bit done. Like, this is... If I stop now, I feel like we won't get back to this for a day or two. And I really want to be pushing on with it. We've got dank angles to be painting now. So Magnus needs to be finished. So whilst we're not cutting corners, we're now going to stop going... to the like the ultimate extreme, which is what we were doing beforehand with pretty much every part of it, and trying out lots of new techniques. Where we've done the red armor, which started off life as blue and then became white and then became yellow and then became red. Oh, I'm so glad you were here to tell me it was in the fucking Antics. They're going to get that delivery note and be like, I think he's mispressed. No, we'll not be, Janelle said. I'm hoping next week, actually. We're going to do Thursday night stream on the base. Get that finished, get the basing powders down, get the custom-made Rival Crafts 10mm static grass tufts attached. Thanks again to Sarah for staying up super late and painting those and creating those. Not everything is created by paint, Jay. Come on, wind it back. So super thank you to her for that. And I'm really looking forward to trying out their new MIG powders. So the whole point of doing Maggie's base this way is we can use everything aside from the paint that we've already used from Rival Crafts to be 100% Rival Crafts on that base. Get that seal of approval. Got that coming on Thursday. Then Sunday, the base Damien did. Yes, mate. It is fucking lush. We might also, if we're lucky, be able to get that Orb of Fire done at the same evening. We will see how we get on. Brilliant. We're using wet pigments now. It's called paint. Asshole. Bring these central creases. Oh shit. Shit. So we just went a little bit too hard on the paint. This is where that control is super important. Super important. Zoom right in, you'll be able to see what's going on. See that? That watermark? That was half a moment of not concentrating. Now we can fix it. Here's how. So, rocking motion with your thumb or finger, you know, whatever, we're not here to judge. And just fill the central part of those watermarks, right? Now we're partially safe from the fact that we're going to do brushed highlights on this afterwards. This isn't like the OSL step or something. We need to wipe out that little line that's still there. And the way to do that is just to bring the value of everything else up to exactly the same and then move just past it, which makes these highlights slightly wider than I wanted them to be. That's how you got to fix it. There you go. It's still there, but by the time we got our brushed highlights down, it'll be nearly invisible, so don't worry. Yeah, I've seen those. AK Interactive does a couple, and MIG does a couple. And I feel like if you wanted to use that, you're probably better off making your own. Like get some Vallejo pumice and thin it. Just sounds a bit weird. But there you go, we're starting to get that right up to white now. Just work in this central section just a touch more before we leave that to the brush. Bam. Let's get another go on this bottom area. It's a little bit too pink. Quickly just grab the hairdryer, give that a quick blast down, and then work that back up to white. Very long stream today. There we go. So that's that one done. What I'm going to do, if we just zoom out a bit, you can see that in pretty good detail. We've got those purple shades coming in the background. We've got the pinks. We've got the darker blues. We've got the very teal-like blues. And if we just pop this next to Magnus, you can see how that interplays with the red, with the blue. Personally, I'm a big fan. I really, really like that. We're going to mat that down, get that testers going on. We're going to come back in with some brushed highlights. But I want the paint to cure fully before we do that. I was going to think about taking this off of here and just placing it on there, but you've got a decent kind of preview of what it's going to look like just by doing that a second ago. So I like it. I like it. It's been worth the evening messing around, going through this procedure. I think this was probably the only way to get this effect without a lot of messing around with glazes and then a lot of messing around painting white. And I'm pretty much done with painting white at the moment. Maggie's wings are just doing my nutting, basically. Defo my style. Cheers, man. I appreciate that. It's always the plan. Super vibrant, super colourful. Lots of transitions, lots of colour. Just sort of snuck in there as a little extra. That's what we're usually going for. This white is so thin, it's taking quite a lot to get coverage, but this is where I thought I could get away without mixing the grey in, because if we just paint white paint as a straight up brushed highlight over that, we're going to get quite a lot out of it. This is just helping us get there so that white highlight doesn't look too jarring and too out of place. Let's just nip in here. Inside area as well. Last bit, and then we go into the whip. We will do a bit of a rapid fire whip gallery tonight, just because of the time. So if I give you some feedback and you decide I've been a little bit quick in my delivery and need to ask some questions, by all means just hit me up on Discord. And I'll get to those tomorrow. I'm still at work tomorrow. The redundancy is happening, but it's we're not yet at a time of right, off you go and chill out. Oh. It's better I'm not going to see now. Build that white up here. Again, it's just take it slow, you know, take your time with it. That's one of the reasons why we're running over. Let that coverage just gradually and naturally happen. Just gonna hair dry this down. Cheers, Vito. Another look at both the front sides of these to be sure that we've got everything we needed to. Not quite. Better, and this could definitely do with a bit more in here as well. And on the outside edge, this fold, this crease. And yeah, right, just got the inside track on this to do. There we are. Cool beans. So there you go. You can see on the underside we've got those nice vibrant blues. You see on this side we've got those really banging purples. But we're still having this bright transition up to white. Once we get some time after this paint is cured, we'll come back in with a brush. These three areas just here at the top, I need to tidy up. That little bit of overspray just took it over the lip there to come back in and glaze those back out with blue. But otherwise, every part of the shading that we've done has been pretty spot on. The next step will be to take some white paint and build up the highlights on this. We'll do that on stream if we can. And obviously get into all of these little bits of recess, this little pattern he's got going on with a very, very thinned down bit of wash. So what I might do, just to protect this, is actually gloss all these, oil wash that, and then matte in over the top of it afterwards, actually. And if I do decide to do that, I'll do that off air. You guys have seen me do oil washes quite a lot, so we'll just carefully drop them in with a little sable brush, a little synthetic brush. That's probably the easiest way of doing that. So that's probably the process there, and that gloss varnish will really help to seal it in as well. Really like the way that these interact with Magnus. The colours that we've got there really work with what we've got on him. So yeah, big fan. Big fan. So to answer your question, Teevil Hagslag? Hagelslag? That's not right. Teevil Hagelslag. Not TV Hagslag, which is kind of where I went to begin with. Apologies. Straight on. Like, I literally use it straight out of the can on top of almost anything. This is the stuff right here. This is absolutely the most legit varnish that you'll find. And for, I just paid £6.49 a can from Antics. I'll put a quick link to them in the chat. Quick search. Copy. Fucking, this won't let me right click to paste. There you go. So there's a quick link to the product. This is absolutely the most banging varnish of all. I trust it so much that I don't even warm the can up or anything. I use it on any miniature that I'm painting, whether it's a commission, my own shit, competition shit, you name it, it gets used. And it gets used with faith, and it has never once let me down. And I've probably gone through 24 cans of that. So, can safely say this is the Dawn. Oh, such a sweaty hand. Right, let's have a quick look at the whip then. Progress. Oh. Just had a little bit of sex where you come out. Look at that, there's agony. Jake, it smells like burning death. It is a horrible smell. But I bet that lasagna smelled divine. I would just put my entire face in that pan. Right, Saragon. Simple update. 40 plus bases, got rimmed and a big gun, got an oil wash. Do love a good rim job. Well done, dude. Why are some of them stood on waffles? It's definitely a waffle. Also, well done on the gun. Definitely needed that. Snaps in all of those little bits of detail now. Much, much, much better. Liking the look of the army, mate. It's coming on really, really well. Even the older stuff that you've got is coming into. I'm gonna buy 2 cans with £8 shipping. What's delivery on it to an Adorn? Well, you know, I was happy to pay the £8 shipping for that because I bought volume. So, Crazy Anked. He's one step ahead of me now. He's got the Silent King. I will be painting mine next month. The Silent King, Cesaras, the Void Dragon, the Nightbringer, 2 Doom Scythes, 20 Warriors, 20 Immortals, 6 Ophidian Destroyers, 3 Doom Stalkers, 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers, some Cryptex, and an Overlord. That's the plan for the second Necronathon. Judgment Day! Dude, I like it. It's looking good. I think you could probably get away with some highlights on some of that Blackstone, though. Like the menhirs and the little pillars he's got. You could definitely amp them up a little bit. But I know your Necron army, you're just going for something nice and simple, quick, busting it out. Speaking of, there they are, the regular boys. Them Doomstalkers. Another one? What do you mean another one? Another Silent King? Dude, there's so many people have painted that now. But mine's going to look great. Cyberdine Dynasty. It's going to look awesome. Did you say the men there, meaning the menhir? So the menhir, the big fucking block of stone right next to him. That thing. Chimo, Golden Throne Wedding Gift. The real present is somewhere inside the foam. Oh no, do I? Holy shit, dude. Impressive. I literally didn't expect anything like this at all. Damn, son. Is that expanding foam that you've painted gold and like cross-hatched? Oh my god. Oh my god. What were these the sprues of? This is hilarious. I would absolutely love it if those sprues were Custodes. No, not Custodes. I would love it if every single one of those sprues had a Psyker on at some point in the past. That would be top level utter bants. That's fucking great. Nice one, dude. Nice one. Holy shit. Got some of my finished models. Haven't been here for a while. You're streaming myself 3 to 4 days a week, but at least I got some models done. Here you go. Nice work, dude. Also, congrats on the streaming. That's looking good. I like this. Yeah, love that base. Really pops off against the green. And the green being very pastel still draws your eye away from that red-orange as well. Lovely work, mate. I've got 3 of these to do myself. They're all assembled. Oh, yes. 6-shooter. We're going to do one of these as well. How can you not have one of these in the army? He looks sick, so fuck it. Why not? We'll get one. For the amount I've invested in Necrons already, that's not much of an extra ask. Nice, he's looking good. You could do a bit more contrast on the blade, I think, though. Get some of the darker greens in there as well to help bring that back, but that's just my style. I like him though, man. Plasma sight. Love these little gimpy fuckers. And some wraiths. Nice. Your green on this looks different to the new guy's gun. This looks more like it might just be the camera actually, but looks like a sort of vivid green, whereas this looks a little bit more pastel. Yeah, maybe. I like him though, dude. Looking good. Hobo J, here he is. Got his doggos out. Very nice, mate. I like those bases too. Are these the Death Ray Designs ones? They look sharp. And that's fucking perfect as far as his positioning goes. Getting up those steps with it and all. I like it. I've got some Assault Intercessors to do myself. Could be painted up in Dark Angels colours. Trying to work out if they get the Inner Circle keyword. No, that's the Blade Guard, not the Assault Intercessors. They're green wing. Cool. Nice work, mate. Especially put Hobo. Go give Jake a follow. 2 layer paints, same green on models. Okay, cool. That makes sense. It's just the light in that case, then, I guess. Sometimes mini photography can be a right pain in the ass. This looks cool. What am I looking at? This looks like it's been 3D printed, but that little like halo thing he's got going on, I swear to you, that's on the 40k Ruins statues. Definitely looking at some beer. It's Voodoo Yaz. It's gonna have beer. Scenery from AOS. Nice, mate. I like it. It's cool. Nice, man. Keep it up. Alright, that's it. We are all whipped out. So tonight, this is what we got. Got this very nice satin kind of finish. Obviously going to matte this down so there's no actual reflection from it, so it'll have a satin finish, but a satin style finish to our cloth. These belong on Big Boy Magnus, just sort of in here. You can see they work well with the blue, they work well with the red, the contrast works well. I'm a big fan of this. Change the exposure back to something that's like real life now, and then we'll do that comparison shot again. Way too bright. Yeah. There you go, you can see that on there. Much better now. So I really like this. Hopefully you guys do too. On the next stream, we're going to be working on the base. I'm going to give these a gloss varnish off stream. Get a quick oil, just sort of wash into this recess, just because it's going to be the easiest and cleanest way of doing it. Stops any fuck ups as well. Matte those down, and then we're going to do a quick brushed highlight on these on a future stream to get these put on Maggie. Got a few bits of his armor panels to do. I've got 1, 2 bits on the wings, a shoulder pad, a belt buckle, an arm band, and his chest piece. Once they're done, they're going to be attached. I hope to have that all done within the next couple of days. So stay tuned to Instagram for some pics on that. But now it is time to pass on the hobby love to... I'll give you guys the option: Captain Madlove or Slow Fuse. Why glossed and matte? We're going to gloss it first to allow the oil wash to get in there. And that way, if there's a mistake with the oil wash, I can easily clean it off without damaging any of the finish that I put down already. Ryboog, depends on what you're doing. Oh, he's doing a chaplain on bike as well. No, he's not. He's doing not a great night. You got one vote for the captain. We'll give it in a couple of seconds. It's either going to be Captain Madlove or Jason Craze over at Slow Fuse. 69 viewers. Drink to that. Madlove it is. She's painting some weird like bunny bust thing. It looks a bit like Donnie Darko. Dr. Rhino, you came in just at the wrong time, mate. We're just about to do a raid, but thanks for dropping by. Stick with us, come on with the raid. Let's have a big push towards Captain Madlove and her crazy bunny thing that she's doing. Thanks for joining in tonight. We'll see you on the next stream on Thursday night. We'll be carrying on with that base. Peace out, everyone. Have a good stream. I had a good stream. Have a good raid. We'll go with that. Bye.